Look at the timing. That is the only metric that matters when you are watching a parade of victory laps being orchestrated in real time. The source packet is heavy today, isn't it? It is a deluge of self-congratulation, a relentless assault of I did this, I won that, and the tape proves me right. But we do not watch the speeches. We watch the prints. And what are the prints telling us while the host is busy toting $200 billion in goods exports as if it were a magic trick? The market is moving, but it is moving with a specific intensity that demands our attention. Let's start with the heavyweights. NUE jumped up 15% to 97th percentile. DJT jumped up 33% to 83rd percentile. Do you see the disparity in the percentiles? One is screaming at the 97th, the other is holding steady at the 83rd. The host wants us to believe that his entire political apparatus, the endorsements, the bridge namings, the golden age rhetoric, is the engine of this growth. He points to a chart showing a 99% endorsement record in Republican primaries as proof of invincibility. He posts images of Congresswoman Mo02 Ann Wagner wins, and Congressman Mo03 Bob Onder wins, with that familiar red and blue gradient, the Trump-Vance logo looming large. He claims this is a mandate, but look at NUE, it's a steel index. It's up in the 97th percentile of its distribution. Why? Not because Harriet Hageman was endorsed for the Senate in Wyoming. Not because Megan Degenfelder is running for governor there. Those are political noise. The tape cares about steel. NUE jumped up 15% to 97th percentile. That is a statistical outlier. That is a print that says something structural is happening, regardless of whether the host is celebrating his own, a blue-collar conservative, book sales or his historic victory in Georgia. And speaking of Georgia, look at the Vanity Project. He congratulates Brandon Beach, Treasurer of the United States, on having a portion of Highway 9 named after him. He posts an image from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent showing a tent and a green sign reading President Donald J. Trump Bridge in Tennessee. He calls it a great honor. He frames it as part of promoting dollar dominance. But the market doesn't care about your highway names. The tape moves on fundamentals. DJT jumped up 33% to 83rd percentile. It's up, yes. But notice the percentile. It is not at the extreme edge like NUE. It is moving, but it is not the outlier of the day. The host wants you to conflate the two. He wants you to think that because he posted a picture of himself with Patton, Trump, MacArthur against a backdrop of war-torn terrain, claiming he obliterated the Iranian nuclear program in Operation Midnight Hammer, that this geopolitical theater is driving every ticker equally. It isn't. The market is pricing risk and reward, not your political posters. Let's look at the volume of lies, or rather, the volume of claims being dumped on us today. He posts a monolith about the Endangered Species Act, calling it regulatory overreach, and claiming he has returned it to how Justice Scalia intended it. He claims this allows the country to build again. He then immediately pivots to a photo of the White House East Wing, a complex and expensive structure with a drone port paid for by great American patriots. No taxpayer money! He touts that the project is on cost and substantially ahead of schedule. This is the narrative: deregulation equals construction equals market growth. But look at VIXI, 0.8% to 79th percentile. The volatility index for gold miners is rising. Why? Because while he claims to be unleashing energy dominance and posting images of American Ram trucks at the Essen Motor Show while scrapping Biden-era policies, the market is hedging. VIXI jumped up 0.08% to 79th percentile. It's a move, but it's in the 79th percentile. It's not NUE's 97th percentile scream. The tape is fragmented. He wants you to see one story: manufacturing is booming. He claims factory activity hit its fastest pace in more than 4 years, and that exports top $200 billion for the big number month, on pace for nearly $5 trillion. These are his figures. They are his claims. We do not verify them, we only observe them as data points in his propaganda machine. He amplifies a Breitbart headline about American manufacturing expands at fastest pace since 2022 and a UAW post about air strategic tariffs prompt industry hiring surge. He posts an image of Detroit diesel adding a sum figure shift. He is weaving a tapestry of industrial revival. But look at NYT. NYT jumped up 1% to 86th percentile. The media stock, it's up. Is it up because free speech is hitting a 20-year high, as he claims in a Washington Times article he shared? Or is it up because the chaos he generates requires more coverage? He posts an image from that Washington Times article showing a person with white hair and sunglasses holding a flag. Captioned, "Campus Free Speech Hits 20-Year High." He links to a Bloomberg piece asking colleges to pledge reforms. He claims this is a victory for the party of common sense by welcoming Alan Dershowitz, who wrote Why I Quit the Dems. He posts the book cover with the donkey and elephant silhouettes. He is trying to define the cultural battlefield. But NYT jumped up 1% to 86th percentile. It's a modest move in the 86th percentile. The market is reacting, but it is not euphoric about the golden age he describes. Consider the sheer density of the endorsements today. He doesn't just endorse one candidate, he endorses a cascade. Harriet Hageman in Wyoming, Megan Degenfelder for governor of Wyoming, Stacey Garrity for Pennsylvania, Darline Graham Nordun in South Carolina. He posts images for every single one: Ann Wagner, Bob Onder, Mark Alford, Jason Smith, Jen Kiggins, John McGuire, Rob Whitman, all winning. All endorsed by President Trump. The chart he shares shows 83 of 185 endorsed candidates won. That is a 99% win rate. He calls it complete and total endorsement, that they will never let you down. This is the political machine in full gear. But what does RAM show? RAM rose up 0.76%, so 54th percentile. RUM, or rather, the stock associated with the narrative of his administration's stability. It's barely above the median, 54th percentile. It moved, but it didn't surge. It didn't jump like NUE. The host claims American exports are on fire and investment pouring into the United States. He claims trillions OF dollars are coming in. But raw is flatlining in the middle of the pack. The market is not buying the entire package. It is buying steel and NU. It is buying the political brand DJT. It is buying some media attention, NYT. But it is hesitant on the broader Economic Confidence Index, RUM. And what of the collapsing crime he boasts about? He shares a Fox News link titled DHS Points to Common Sense Reason for Collapsing Crime. He claims border encounters are 95% lower than the daily average under Joe Biden. He posts an image of a soldier in Sunland Park, New Mexico, with text stating no illegal migrants have been released into the United States for 7 months. He frames this as a common sense victory. But look at the Justice Department data. He also highlights largest denaturalization effort ever, with 25 cases filed. 2 weeks, who knows how much cases. That is not a collapse of crime. That is a legal skirmish. And yet, he uses it to bolster the law and order narrative for his candidates. He claims this safety allows for safer streets thanks to the Coast Guard, which he celebrates on its 236th birthday. He talks about new Arctic security cutters. He posts an image of Dan Kane at Operation Midnight Hammer, claiming Iran's nuclear program was obliterated. This is the geopolitical backdrop, a narrative of total dominance. But the tape does not reflect total dominance. It reflects selective strength. NUE jumped up 15% to 97th percentile. That is the only thing that matters right now. The rest is just noise. The rest is just him posting book links and bridge namings. The market prints what it prints. NUE surged in the 97th percentile. DJT moved in the 83rd. VIXY rose in the 79th. NYT jumped in the 86th. RAM ticked up in the 54th. The numbers don't care how loud you type them. Quiet days are exactly when you should get suspicious. Today is not quiet. It is loud. But only one tape line is screaming. He says the stock market is at an ALL time high. He claims this is because investors know America is winning. He ties it to his made INTHEUSA tariffs. But the tape is specific. NUE jumped up to 15% to 97th percentile. It did not jump because of a bridge in Tennessee. It jumped because steel is needed or feared or valued in a way that places it at the 97th percentile of its recent history. That is the truth. The rest is just him welcoming Stacey Garrity and Darline Graham Nordun to the Oval Office. The rest is just him claiming deal is imminent with Iran while posting images of his golf score. The numbers don't lie. NUE jumped up to 15% to 97th percentile. That is the only victory lap that matters today. The rest is just echo. That's the show. We're on Spotify and YouTube. If this earned it, like, subscribe, tell a friend. And housekeeping, the machine that writes this gets tuned constantly for cleaner news. The numbers are real, the jokes are not.